Hello, my curious souls. Welcome in or welcome back. My name is Amanda. Thank you all so much for being here. It is an honor to read for you today. I'm curious, when was the last time or how often do you take time to pause and reflect? I want you to make this your time, 20 minutes to settle in, relax, and be present with the messages that want to come through for you today. And it kind of aligns with the collective energy that I've been feeling of this energy of not being able to move forward in that divine masculine energy, but to step back, to pause, assess, reflect, address before proceeding, because I feel there are some things that need to be reestablished, realigned, restructured, reorganized before we can move forward and see the success or the growth that we want to see. And that's a similar energy to the Seven of Pentacles here, where it's this energy of stepping back to look at the time and the effort that we've put into something and to compare that with the results that we are seeing and how we're feeling about those results. Is it enough? Do we need to make some adjustments? Do we need to prune back some things so that we can free up some energy to make it even more abundant or successful or rewarding in some capacity? And maybe even to give back to ourselves or to give more to others, however you see fit. So that is what the reading is going to be about today. As always, with my Pick a Card Tarot readings, please trust your intuition and decide what feels best and lovingly leave the rest. If you feel ready to dive into your reading, the timestamps for each soul path are in the description box. However, for those who would like an official introduction to the soul paths, let me do that right now. For Soul Path 1, we have the Seven of Pentacles from the traditional Rider-Waite Smith Tarot with the Atlantisite stone. For Soul Path 2, we have the Seven of Pentacles from the Over the Rainbow Tarot with the Aragonite stone. And for Soul Path 3, we have the Seven of Pentacles from Tarot in Wonderland with the Opalite stone. So when you feel called and ready, please use your intuition to choose the soul path that is calling to you the most. Use the timestamp in the description box to jump straight into your reading, and we will see you over there. Hello, my Soul Path 1. Welcome into your reading. You chose the Seven of Pentacles from the Rider-Waite Smith Tarot with the Atlantisite stone. Now, I do want to get an opening card to maybe get a feel for your current energy. I feel like you are trying to find some kind of ground or root at this time, or maybe that's what you need. I'm feeling a lot of earthly energy, and I don't know if that's because of the Seven of Pentacles or if that's because there's been a lot of anxiety. Maybe you've done a lot of overthinking about something. Thoughts or cycles of thought are coming through. And we have the Four of Pentacles coming through here with firm foundations. So I feel like this assessment or addressing something is helping you build some new foundations or provide a firm foundation for you to leap off of. So it's interesting that I talked about rooting down or grounding yourself at this moment in time, because we do have this card which has a red border, and that does speak to the root chakra. So getting yourself rooted down and really grounded before proceeding forward. And this collective energy continues to come through in your reading here. So whatever needs to be addressed for you or assessed at this time, I feel it will be an important aspect to your foundation, your physical foundation, whether that is your home or your physical body, your financial foundation, anything that you might put your time and energy or effort into. And I feel like up and coming, there will be something that you have to move above and beyond. So whether that's a challenge or an adversity, maybe that's something you're moving through right now, all the more reason to take a step back and to really shore up the foundation so that you're really energetically strong moving forward. So let's take a peek at the tarot. Let's look at your current energy for Soul Path 1, Atlanticite pile. Atlanticite, Soul Path 1. Current energy, please, for Soul Path 1, Atlanticite. One more, please. Okay. So we have the Two of Swords in reverse, and we have the Chariot. There's a feeling that you just want to go. And it's interesting because the Two of Swords here can speak to two things that you're trying to decide on. You're trying to really determine what's best for you moving forward. But both options are either equally good or equally bad. So there's no real right path to choose. I almost wonder if you already have a sense of what that is and you want to make the decision and move forward. So I feel like maybe there has been some assessment. There have been, interesting. Okay, so maybe for some of you there have already been this assessment and now you're going to address it. However, I'm also getting that the universe is going to make the decision for you if you have not already made it. Now that might come as a comfort to some, as making a difficult decision, especially if we don't have a deadline to make that decision, can be daunting and can technically go on forever. We can sit in indecision for a really long time. We can sit in that stalemate for a really long time. But I feel something might be ushered in that either encourages you to make the decision or makes the decision a little more clear, or the universe is coming in to help you make this decision kind of on your behalf, whether you like it or not. So I feel that's kind of where you're currently at. Let's see what the challenge is, if that's not already the challenge. This could have something to do with a relationship in your life. We do have the Ace of Cups here. So you could be deciding between, do I stay or do I go with this particular person, whether it's friendship or romantic, or whether or not I stay single or get into a relationship. Yeah, you're just not sure what you want or how you feel about both of these things, and maybe they're in equal measure. So we've got Queen of Cups at the bottom of the deck, which is this feeling of being overwhelmed by emotions or not truly understanding your emotions at the greatest depth of why you want to make a decision or what decision to make. And truly what your heart is telling you to do, because I feel you might be coming from a place of logic, but this requires a little bit more heart, a little bit more how does it feel energy, rather than what looks good on paper or what makes the most logical sense. Because I feel you might be coming at this from a very, very grounded place even, and you're trying to be very practical. But I almost wonder if it requires a little bit more emotion. Okay. So all the more reason to take a step back, especially if you're feeling indecisive about something. And even if you have this pressure to make this decision to move forward, there's definitely something, a new fresh energy, a new emotion that's trying to be revealed or trying to come in. So creating a firm foundation is going to be important. Now, the Four of Pentacles can also speak to hanging on too tightly to a specific way of doing a specific way of life, a specific lifestyle, a specific way of being or doing something. And I think this energy is here to introduce a new way of making decisions. So let's get some context specifically on what needs to be addressed or assessed at this time. I do think it has to do with a relationship in your life. This could be a friendship. I feel like with the Six of Cups in reverse here, I do feel like there's a hanging on to the past and a fear of moving into the unknown, of what will happen if I let this go? What will happen if I make a new choice that isn't rooted in a past pattern, a past person, a past situation or experience? I think you're going to come out of this discomfort or this not knowing in a very confident position, in a very proud and inspired position. I think there is a fear that you don't have the confidence to make this decision, or that you're going to make the wrong one. But so long as you're aligning yourself to your intuition, to your emotional body, just as much as you are the logical side, and kind of weighing those options, I think you can't go wrong here. But there's something from your past that needs to be assessed first. And it needs to be addressed in a very uncomfortable place. You're going to have more questions than answers, which could be why there is an indecision, a point of indecision, a stalemate, because there's no good answer. Or maybe the two options you have aren't the options that you want, but there's still choices within that, I feel. I feel like it's not one or the other. I feel like you might need to get a little creative and looking at all of the options. The only way to do that is to step into the darkness of looking at your conditioned beliefs and how those are coming into play, looking at your intuition, and are those being listened to or understood? And then moving through a little bit of the mystery of it all, of the unknown, of really not knowing where you're going to end up, allowing that to be okay, and really grounding yourself in your own energy and the resources that you have and how you apply those, and trusting that. I feel like self-trust is a big component of this. And there might be something from your past that you have or need to let go of, but there's a bit of a trepidation of, if I officially let this go, I'm in unknown territory. That's not necessarily a bad thing, because you will start to unearth strengths, abilities, skills that have lied dormant for maybe some time. And maybe that's why there's this push from the universe to make certain decisions at this time, because it is helping you step into a more confident self, a more magnetic self, a self-reliant self, of knowing who you are, of knowing what you have to offer to the world, of knowing your creative gifts. So let's get some clarifiers. What is this Six of Cups? Yeah, there's definitely some sorrow attached, some grief, some regret about something or someone from your past that is kind of anchoring you at this time, that needs to be looked at, that needs to be understood, and that needs to possibly be let go of here. Because I feel that will free up a lot of energy to move forward in the direction that you want to go. What is this Moon? What is this Moon? I felt it, I didn't feel it. Or I felt it, I didn't see it. What is this Moon? So there is a lack of giving answers, or there's a delay in giving answers here. And we have the Eight of Wands on its side, which just clarifies exactly what I just said. the Eight of Wands is not necessarily fast movement when it's in the reverse. It can mean a stepping back or even scattered energy if you continue to move forward, or not hitting the mark if you continue to move forward, especially when you're in a place of unknown. But it's about allowing the discomfort to be there without meaning anything, but seeing it as an opportunity to discover something. And I feel it will offer answers in time. But until that, I feel like the brakes are on. Until such time that you start following your inner guidance, your intuition. Queen of Wands, what is this? So you have to be okay with that grief process, with a little bit of discomfort, because we have the Five of Wands in reverse, clarifying the Queen of Wands. You're worried about what other people are going to think. You're worried about possibly the opposition that you might get because you are doing something in your own way. You're doing something that is intuitively guided versus logically guided. And you're letting go of something that has been part of your identity, possibly, or part of your story that has been with you for some time. So this isn't something new that you picked up last week and you're going to try and you're going to see. I feel like this goes back to your childhood, where you've identified with something or someone, and maybe not necessarily in your childhood, but in your youth. And to let go of that means that you have to grieve the part of yourself that is no longer there, that you have come to terms with, that you have understood this is no longer serving me, and it is anchoring me to something and preventing me from moving forward. And this Five of Wands comes up, but I love that it's paired with the Queen of Wands, because it tells me your trajectory. If you're willing to put the pause button on and to look at things in a really deep subconscious level of what is truly going on here, I feel like you're going to come out the other side of that moon very confident, very wise, and understand where to place your energy that is the best for you. And that may ruffle some feathers, but I don't think you're going to be fazed by it, because you're stepping away from the pettiness of things, the drama of things, and you're okay being in that space of knowing what I know and being confident that this is the right direction for me. That doesn't mean that you won't take in opinions, but it has to be from the right people, not just anybody. So it's almost like you're blocking out the opinions and the advice and the guidance of people that don't matter. And that could be me included. And you're stepping into what you understand, what you are energetically investing in, how you want to express yourself to the world, and what that looks like. And that's not based on anybody else. So it's like this is helping you create a firm foundation, which you fully understand and can launch from that space. Now, I love that the Five of Swords is at the bottom of the deck here, because this tells me that, again, you're stepping out of the pettiness, out of the drama, of the need to be right. And that could be where the energetic leaks have been in your life, is that you have clung to something from your past where maybe you had to defend it, or maybe you had to justify it, or maybe you felt obligated to keep it around, but it just didn't feel right. Or it was a relationship that was shrouded in drama and pettiness and arguments and fighting, and you're no longer investing yourself in that. I feel like the emotions that you have to move through, as difficult as they might be, are better than what you've experienced in the past. So you're building this confidence up to be able to really identify the things that you want to engage in, and really coming back into this power within yourself, this leadership that I don't think you have had Maybe you have seen glimpses of it, but I think you're really going to step into this energy a lot more once this past energy has been assessed and addressed, and you can make decisions that may not be 100% clear, but they feel good. So let's get an energy to end your reading for Soul Path 1, please. What would you like them to know? Guiding advice for Soul Path 1, please. Strongest energy. Okay, that one stood upright, and it's facing me. It's currently, I don't know how it's balancing, but it's balancing. It's standing upright towards me. Change your tune. So I think there's a change in your frequency, if you believe in energetic frequencies. I think that this is a change in the wind. I feel like you've experienced a lot of growth up until this point, and there's some things from your past that have been grandfathered in or have kind of hitched a ride up until now. But those energies that are no longer kind of attuned to you anymore, I feel like that is something that is being let go of. Your frequency is changing, your tone is changing, your tune is changing, and you're coming into something that's a little bit more powerful. You're stepping into your own power and even your own rhythms, and you're expressing that in a way that allows you to move forward in a very balanced way. Something that is aligned to what's best for you, what feels good to you, in spite of some of the external stuff that may be trying to be imposed upon you by others. Now, bottom of the deck, we do have love, so this could very well be in the context of a relationship. There could be a past relationship for some of you that you've been hanging on to. This could be friendship or love relationship that is just not working. So you're coming to terms with that. You're understanding that on a deeper level. And because of that, there's this, I want to say, independence that comes through. And that could be a split for some of you, or that could simply mean within the relationship, I'm going to be more authentic and expressive. So there's a lovely truth and authenticity that's coming through with this. And maybe it's always been there, but I feel once that old energy is cleared out, you can fully give yourself to this new energy that wants to come through and be fully realized. So this is what I have for you, Soul Path 1. I hope that resonated and was helpful for you. Please feel free to comment below if there are any messages here that really resonated with you, or any imagery that really stood out to you and how you're interpreting that. I would love to hear that. With gratitude, I'm sending you love. Stay curious, and I'll see you in your next reading. Hello, Soul Path 2. Welcome into your reading. You chose the Tarot Over the Rainbow with the Aragonite Stone. As I was shuffling, I was drawn to a lot of cards that talked about grief, that talked about sorrow, that talked about an overwhelm of emotions and thoughts. So there's a lot going on within the mind, a lot going on with the emotional body. That could just be a side note, but this could also be who I'm speaking to today, which is all the more reason to find some kind of grounding energy, or to maybe assess those thoughts, address the anxiety that is coming up in a way that you've not done before. And that might help you bring a little bit more grounding energy to this experience so that maybe you can understand it or transmute it or heal it. And maybe that's not possible either, depending on the circumstance. So take that however it resonates. So for Soul Path 2, let's get an opening card to see where you're at, to see where the energy's at. We have patience. This is the Temperance card. Number 14. I do definitely feel for some of you here, there is a grieving period that you're moving through. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be connected to somebody who has passed, although that could be relevant for some of you. Others of you, you could be saying goodbye to certain aspects of a past self, or maybe you've decided to leave a job, but these are conscious decisions that you've made. That doesn't mean that you're not going to grieve them, because they are a part of our story. They are a part of our day-to-day. This could be lifestyle changes too. So maybe you're cutting something out. We still move through that grief because we are letting go of something that we truly enjoyed, but it doesn't serve a greater purpose anymore. It doesn't align with us anymore, whatever the reason for us letting that go. And there is a grieving process. So again, this energy of not moving forward, especially in that space of grief, but to really allow it, to feel it, and to heal whatever it is. That's going to require patience. It's going to require intention, and it's going to require a space for us to hold space for these emotions, these feelings that maybe we want to run away from. We want to jump to the next thing so we don't have to face that. But I feel what needs to be assessed is the feelings. That I feel is where the magic is. What's happening in this moment? How are you treating yourself? How are you caring for yourself? Are you seeking help when you feel way too overwhelmed? Are you finding support and comfort in friends and neighbors or professionals? Now, this could simply mean that you are impatient, full stop, and that patience wants to come through here. There is a moderation that is happening. So whatever you're doing, there could be some obsessive energy of I need to go and I need to do and I need to achieve and I need to grow. Again, coming back to that collective energy of taking a step back to assess something here, to address something, and to have patience in the unfolding process rather than rushing from one thing to the next or trying to see growth every month in business or in your job or career. This is a really taking the time, taking a step back, finding moments of peace and serenity, because the growth that you seek is not going to happen in the rush. It's going to happen in the intentional planting and nurturing of that seed over a period of time. So no matter how much you water something, no matter how much nutrients you give something, you cannot rush the process of growth. That's what I'm hearing. So I feel like anything outside of that process, of that natural process, is going to provide frustration. So if you apply force, there's going to be frustration in that mix. So we also have a 1 and a 4, which is beginnings, fresh starts, intentions, and understanding what those intentions are, and foundations. So getting down to the root of some kind of matter, or really shoring up our roots, our foundations. The root chakra comes to mind. That was part of Soul Path 1. We talked about the root chakra, and really getting a firm foundation on where we are now, where we've come from, and where we would like to go, and how all of that aligns. When we add 1 and 4, we get a number 5. So this could be a moment of real discomfort, of challenge, but also change. So we cannot really be rigid in this moment. We have to kind of go with the flow and to kind of check in with the energy within our body, mind, soul, emotions, and figure out what it is we need today. Not where it is we want to go and how we need to apply that energy now, but what is it that we need right today in this moment. So coming back into the present, I feel is going to be important for some. Okay, so for Soul Path 2, first we'll get your energy, And then we'll look at the specifics of what needs to be assessed, addressed, and kind of where you're headed on the other side of that. So for Soul Path 2, current energies. Both on their side. Yeah, okay, yep. Yes. We have the Knight of Wands, which is forward-moving energy, possibly quite impulsive in that of I need to see growth, I need to slay this dragon, I need to do this thing, and I'm going to put all of my energy behind that. We do have the Two of Pentacles here in the sideways position. Again, I just feel like there's a possible frustration in not being able to move forward, wanting to move forward, but not being able to. There is a call to balance something here. The Temperance can also speak to balance because we're talking about moderation, we're talking about ebb and flow, trial and error, and patience in that process. So this kind of just confirms what I mentioned with this patient card. There's this need or this want to move forward in a very passionate way, in a very energetic way, and you just want to get to the next thing, whatever that is. But I feel like in that process of trying to force or push, that you're finding yourself becoming ungrounded or unbalanced, not able to manage something. And there needs to be that balance that happens first before you can proceed. So one more card. And that's on the side as well. So Three of Cups. Yeah, you want to get to more, I want to say, celebratory energy. You want to get to levity. You want to return to fun and friends and enjoyment of life. I feel like the challenge is to come back to some kind of basics or back to some kind of balance where you can rest, you can create that space. And maybe you're not even aware of this. So maybe this reading is going to help you understand that a little better, to understand that there needs to be a little more grounded energy and not so much fiery movement forward, but a little more of a plan or a strategy, or making new choices might be part of this. Or expanding your networks of people, of colleagues, so that you can bring something new in. I don't know what that is. So now we're looking at, there's our Temperance card yet again. So definitely somebody's being a little impatient. So the impatience, I feel, needs to be, what does that mean to you to be patient with yourself? Be patient with the process. Nine of Wands in reverse. And we also have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. So this is all about you. And all about how you approach something, how you're seeing something, even how you manage something, your time, your energy, your effort, your money. But again, we have the Temperance. It is in reverse, so there's a lack of moderation or lack of balance in some area of your life, possibly with work and play. I feel like it has more to do with your approach or your energy that you are applying to a specific situation or area of your life, maybe two different areas of life that are causing some kind of imbalance. And there's an impatience in, I want to see results or I want to get on track, but you can't. So all the more reason I feel like you need to stop moving forward or trying to see growth at this time or being productive because you can't. I feel like there's some universal energies at play, especially because we have a major arcana card that came out as the opening card, and we have it in your actual reading here as well. So I feel this energy is really helping you to be more patient with some kind of process here. And so I feel what needs to be assessed is how you're approaching something where you feel a little imbalanced, and even what that looks like for you. What does imbalance look like for you? And what needs to be addressed is the Nine of Wands. In the reverse, it's like you have or need to address the amount of energy that you put into something. And if those efforts are worth it, or is it empty? When we talk about the nines, generally speaking, we're talking about how you utilize the energy of the card. How do you utilize your energy? What do you apply that to? How do you apply that? So again, we come back to process, we come back to application of that energy, we come back to an approach or a strategy. Are you burning yourself out in something that is not really giving you the rewards, the success, the results that you're looking for? That could be needing to be addressed on how you apply your energy and to what you apply your energy that is not returning any results back to you. There's no return on investment, so it's draining your energy sources. I feel in addressing that or assessing what's going on here, you might come up against the real root of the issue here, which could be really helpful, but also really uncomfortable. There is some feelings of lack of self-esteem here, lack of confidence, maybe an understanding of how you've been applying your energy is not worth your time. And so why are you investing in that thing? So there's a real looking at oneself, looking in the mirror of how you're doing something, and the more important part is why you're doing something. To a point at which it's ungrounding you. It's creating an imbalance in your life. It's creating an energetic drain or burnout. Maybe you've come to realize that what you have applied yourself to is not actually worth your time, your energy, your efforts, your money. Whatever you've invested in may not be paying off. What is this Temperance in reverse? Ace of Wands. So there's a new way of doing something. And there's a seed of a new idea. There's a new intention coming through here. A new way of movement, action. But it all starts with that why. I think the why is part of this as well. It's not just how you apply yourself and your process, but why you're doing something. Why are you doing it in this way? Why are you chasing that thing? Why is it important to you that you achieve some kind of result? And if you don't achieve that result, then why is that important? Or what does that say about you? There's a lot of deep questions that are coming through here. Nine of Wands in reverse. Let's clarify that, please. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. You're afraid of missing out on some kind of opportunity. Or maybe you have lost an opportunity in your past and you want to prevent that. So you're applying action. You're showing up with a lot of energy. Don't know what this is though. You do have two aces. So maybe the opportunities that you have put effort towards, yeah, I think that's just going to repeat itself, is not the opportunities that you can really see yourself committing to in the long term, even though you want to. Or maybe it's providing a lack of self-worth or a lack of confidence, or maybe there's some imposter syndrome coming up. And we have the Knight of Swords in the sideways position. And that is also a very impulsive energy with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, you can't change this energy. It's all about what you can learn within this energy, what you can understand in this energy, how you're feeling within this energy. The Wheel of Fortune is tides of change and understanding that this too shall pass, yes, but this is a bit of a turn of bad luck that you don't have any influence over or control over. So coming back to the opening message of no matter how hard you try or how much you do, you're not going to see progress or movement. So it's about letting this pass, this energy pass with a lot of patience, but understanding what you have control over in this process. And I feel like there is a reason why the wheel is in the reverse, is that there is something new that wants to be brought to the surface. And to me, this little seed in this patience card is this seed of new intention, of maybe even a new purpose or a new mission that you come to understand because you're trying to balance some kind of energy. Or maybe when you ease into this energy of patience and going with the flow, that you have some new epiphanies. You have a new understanding. With the Knight of Swords in the sideways position, he's not quite committed either way. So based on how you spend your time, energy, money, and the reasons behind that, the beliefs behind that, even the values that are being assessed because of you looking at something on a deeper level, I feel like this is going to change your movement forward. You start out with the Knight of Wands, but you kind of end up in the Knight of Swords energy, which is movement, but in a different way. You're coming at it from maybe a clearer point of view, a clearer understanding. But we have to be careful about, again, how we apply that Knight of Swords energy, because both of these can be very impulsive. This one is a little impulsive in the sense that they want to go after their desires. They can become a little obsessive about something and not see anything else but that finish line or that goal, that passionate desire that they want to achieve. Not a bad thing. But in any kind of extreme, it can be, and it can shut us off to possibilities and understanding. Now with the Knight of Swords, he can be even more impulsive than the Wands. It's even faster moving energy. And movement without thinking about the consequence to others, to yourself. So I think this one is kind of on the turn, is my feeling. Just because of the placement, which means that without us evaluating our values, our beliefs, how and what we invest our time in, and why, this could end up becoming a real out of control energy where it kind of spins you off onto a tangent, especially with the wheel here. So we have to get really grounded and come to the center of this wheel so that we're not really affected by as much the energies at play, the universal energies at play, and that it doesn't spin us off onto a tangent that is rooted in lack of confidence or self-esteem. We want to be able to turn the sky in the reverse so that we can still take that swift action and strength in the face of adversity without that adversity defining our direction or how we act or react to something. So there's a lack of reactivity with the Knight of Swords in reverse. And also, too, to be open to a different way of doing something. This is about harnessing the energy in a productive way. It's about focusing on those little steps individually to get us there rather than moving full steam ahead. So it's interesting, I'm seeing the Knight of Pentacles in my mind's eye, and it's funny that these energies just have charged out of the gate. So this feels like a very mindfulness energy rather than something that's passive, something that's reactive, because maybe some reactivity might come through as you start to uncover some things. and we don't want to act in that reactivity. So just be mindful of that. I feel like this is about having a little more patience with yourself and with the process, and not internalizing what might be going on at this time, but to instead come back to the things that are within your control, the things that you can balance, even if that's just for a temporary time, and that can be a tough one. But the energies will eventually settle, so this isn't permanent. It just requires a little patience. Now, this could also mean, I'm going to put that back on its side. This can also mean that there could be somebody, the Knight of Swords could be somebody in your life that you could be inspired by as well. So maybe you can look to somebody for a different type of approach or process or clarity, transformation. So because we started with the Knight of Wands and ended with the Knight of Swords, I do feel like there's a shift or a transformation that's happening in this period of time where you're assessing something, addressing something, and consciously applying new wisdom or new understanding to your situation. And this is also very death energy, so it's a death and a rebirth. And this in-between can feel really sticky. It can feel really uncomfortable. There are some new truths that might come to light because of facing this, because of looking in the mirror and looking at how you are applying yourself and why you're applying yourself. So there could be some unearthing of new things, but try to remove judgment from that process, because this is moving you to a different space, a new space, and this will help you see that growth in the future. So this is what I have for you, Soul Path 2. I do hope that these messages resonated and was helpful for you. Let me know in the comments what messages stood out to you the most, and even what imagery might have caught your attention. I always love to hear that. And with gratitude, I'm sending you my love. Stay curious, and I'll see you in your next reading. Hello, Soul Path 3. Welcome into your reading. You chose Tarot in Wonderland with the opalite stone or crystal. I feel like you're trying to find clarity on something, and you may already actively be in this assess and address energy where you've stepped back to look at something from a higher perspective, or trying to find different angles or perspectives to look at this situation from, because you're unable to move forward or make progress in something anymore, and you want to make sure that things are on track, you're going in the right direction, you're surrounding yourself with the right people, or applying yourself in the way that you feel is best at this time. So I do get that you're very aware or conscious of what's happening in the collective energy, and you are actively participating and welcoming in this energy without resistance. Now, that may be for some of you, not all of you, so take that as it resonates. Before we get into that, the tarot, I will get an energy for you to start the reading, or at least to open up the reading for Soul Path 3. Okay, so I feel like whatever work that you're doing, it might be done in solitude. So you've taken yourself out of the fray, out of the challenges, the changes, maybe even stepped back from social situations or social media, so that you can really hear yourself think, or to really learn something new about your situation or your path ahead, to fully understand it. It's interesting that I'm getting with every single reading today, we got a lot of root energy where there's a seed, a new seed being planted, but we have to bring intention and the appropriate action to that, if at all, to be able to see something grow over the long term. It requires patience or soil that is ready to be planted in. So this requires a lot of internal work in order to bring in fresh energy, to remove the energy that is no longer serving us so that we have fertile soil. That is the word that I was looking for, actually. Fertile soil, in order to make sure that it gives this seed its best chance, at least at the very beginning. So I feel, again, there's an awareness of that. I feel like you're really rooting down in what's my purpose? What do I want to commit to in the long term? I feel like there's a lot of goal setting, or at least assessment of goals that are happening. Even a thought about career paths or business paths for some of you as well. And also relationships. So you are maybe coming together with a partner and you are looking into the future. You're setting goals together. You're really reviewing the intentions of the relationship and the other person, and where do you see this going? And so that's really important, because I feel like we're in a time where it's the stepping back to assess, am I on this right path? Is the soil ready to be planted in, so that we can really have a firm launch pad to move us into the future and to see the growth that we want to see. So this is Ace of Pentacles energy. There's definitely a new opportunity in this space. And I feel like you are considering the long-term goals or the long-term commitments that you're making, and the long-term results as well. And it's not just monetary, I feel. The Pentacles can speak to monetary, but it can be about your health. Is this lifestyle, or is this diet plan that I'm on, whatever it may be, is this exercise plan, is this going to provide me with the best thing in the long term? So again, stepping back to maybe remove yourself from that energy for a time so that you can really understand it on a deeper level and bring forth that wisdom in your decisions and the things that you plan moving forward. So let's get your energy for Soul Path 3, please. Okay. 5 of Pentacles out on the table here. This speaks to coming out of a time of significant challenge. This can be valley of despair, where things in your business weren't going well, your finances took a dip, and you weren't really sure how to get things back on track. Now, this could also speak to, again, we have Pentacles, so it's how you are spending your time, energy, money. And this could also be physical health, so maybe you had a bout of bad luck or a bout of illness that you were managing. I feel you're coming out of that now, and now that you're feeling better or starting to feel better, you're really looking at the habits and the behaviors and the things that you've attached yourself to that may not be the healthiest choice or the most aligned choice. I feel like with the Devil coming out here, I feel like it's being made known to you. I feel like it's coming into your awareness, and you're starting to see people, places, things in your life, activities, foods you eat that have really contributed to this challenge that you've moved through, whether that's financial, whether that's in your physical body, or whether that's within your home life and maybe the people that you share your home with, whoever that may be. But there's some attachment here that you've had a hard time getting away from, and now I feel that's being clarified, or that's coming to an end, or you're applying yourself in a different way, or going to be applying yourself in a different way. Now, you could come to realize that there's a toxic person in your life that has contributed to some stress, which has then contributed to some health issues, and you're trying to find balance again. We have more Pentacle energy. So 6 of Pentacles, I feel, is your challenge, trying to find balance within that, trying to come to terms with, how do I cut this thing out? And maybe there's a need to stay attached to it. So if it's a family member that you can't quite cut out of your life, how do I kind of navigate that energy? How do I go in and out of that energy without being swept up by it or influenced by it in some way? And this could be assessing what you're giving your energy towards and how that's being reciprocated in your career, in your business, in your relationships, again, in your finances. If I purchase this thing, what kind of value is it giving me in my life? So an assessment of how you spend money, how you save money, and coming to realize that there could be a habit or a behavior that you formed for one reason or another that may need to be assessed and addressed and maybe let go of. But you really want to restore balance. I really love that the 5 came out as kind of the first card, the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. And then part of your challenge is you moving towards the 6. And the 6 is balance and harmony, reciprocity, give and take, offering help while also being open to receiving help when you need it. And I feel like that might be something new for you. So maybe you feel like you've had to do things on your own at all times, no matter what. Maybe you haven't had a support system in place, but you somehow are finding your way to a support system, or are understanding that it doesn't mean anything to need help sometimes. We all need help sometimes, from friends, from community, from support groups, from counselors. And so it's almost like there is a thought or a belief that if I need help, then I'm failing. Or if I need help, then I'm weak. There's some kind of thinking behind that, I feel, that is being broken down. And there's new thought patterns or new way of doing something that's coming in that's going to allow you to build up on something in the long term, to move you to abundance, to help you feel more fulfilled. There's the Hermit again. And we have the Moon. We have some universal energies as well. So there may be, and we have another universal energy with the Tower in reverse. So that means that these energies are sort of out of your influence or control. You just simply have to move through them, welcome them, look at them, understand them, but not try to control the circumstances or the situation that you might find yourself in, but to kind of go inward. And we see that with the Hermit card. It's about going in to understand something at a deeper level, cutting out the noise and kind of getting into our own sacred space so that really we can commune with our own spirit, our own soul, our own heart, and really hear what's going on in the mind as well and how that is affecting our body. Now we have the Moon card, which is a lot of challenging, difficult energies that are kind of being presented to you at this time. And it's not something that you could have seen coming, possibly. This is an energy of, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what to do. I don't have the answers. I don't have clarity. I have more questions than answers. Could be a very confusing time. That is okay. Do not judge yourself in this moment, because it is pushing you into a place, while seemingly it might be a dark place, it is pushing you into a place that is going to strengthen that inner wisdom or help you understand that inner wisdom a little bit more. And in the process of that, it's going to allow you to see where the faulty foundations are so that you can rebuild on a stronger foundation of what you've learned, what you've understood, and looking at some subconscious beliefs or feelings that you haven't assessed or addressed up until this time. And I feel that is what is most prominent in your reading, is that there is an assessment of your subconscious. There's an assessment of your conditioned beliefs, maybe your values, and your intuition and how those things align. And that could really be the confusion, is that your conditioned beliefs and your intuition are saying two different things. What do I believe? Because I've done this or felt this or believed this for so long, but my intuition is telling me that this isn't right. This is how we need to do things, or this is how we need to feel or believe. So it's about really understanding your intuitive nudges, your intuition on a deeper level, your inner wisdom, because you do have that. And to not rely solely on the conditioned beliefs that were created in childhood or in your younger years. So allow your inner light to guide you at this time. Both of these are about being in the dark and really having no other choice but to lean on what is the next smallest, best action I can take at this time, and not being able to see 100 steps down the road. Let that be okay for a time, but to only be able to see the foot in front of you. That's kind of the energy that's at play right now. So to trust yourself, to trust your intuition, and to lean on that, develop that a little bit more. Go deep to understand whatever is happening, whatever's coming up, to be really aware of what's happening in these moments of discomfort or darkness, because there are some attachments to something within your life, within your mind, that is being asked to let go of so that you can come back to balance and make significant but needed change in your life. And maybe you are already aware of this, but it's about walking through this energy, understanding yourself at a deeper level. Knight of Wands. So we just talked about that. I really feel like I don't want to say you're encouraged by this challenge, but you're not afraid of this challenge. So whoever I'm speaking to, going back to our opening energy with the opalite stone, I feel, while you may not have clarity about the way forward, you have clarity about what it is you need to do and how you need to move through this. So there's a confidence here with the Knight of Wands. There's a passionate desire to move through this. I feel like whatever this is, you've had enough. And you're really not afraid to face this. So you're willing to do what you need to do to move beyond it and move through it. The Hermit is the Ace of Pentacles, so it's making its way out again, as we saw in our opening card, but it's in reverse. So you won't see the opportunities until you have gained the wisdom that you need in order to step into this opportunity with full understanding. And this also may mean to understand that opportunities might be let go of, but that's okay, because they may no longer be aligned with who you are or where you're going. So to be okay with losing some opportunities, but understand that the opportunities for you are not lost. There are new ones and different ones ahead. So the Tower in reverse. Tower in reverse. What is being... I feel a lot might be unearthed, upheaved during this Tower moment. We have the Nine of Swords in reverse. So I think with this Tower, you are going to come into a release of a lot of internal overthinking. There's a mindset that is being shifted or changed because of this Tower moment, because of certain things that you are consciously removing from your life. And I feel like they're big pillars of your life. It is allowing you to step into this energy of not worrying, of not stressing, of knowing that you have your back, of knowing that you have this leadership quality within you to be able to move yourself forward. And we have the Chariot at the bottom of the deck, which is this energy of balance, balanced movement forward, of your subconscious and your conscious coming together in unity to move you straight down the middle and not have your subconscious throw you off track, throw you off the path, but to really have such a deep understanding. You know when your subconscious is trying to pull you back to old ways, old behaviors, habits, patterns. You're breaking some kind of mental pattern here, and it's going to rocket you forward because of that. There's a lot of victory and success that comes along with the Chariot as well. So if you had any doubt that you're not going to find your way, fear not. I feel like this is what this energy is moving you towards. And we have another major arcana at the bottom of this deck as well. So don't be afraid of what you lose or let go of during this process, because new opportunities will present themselves and there will be new victories, new successes, new rewards as a result of the shedding that is happening during this time. You'll notice that a lot of these energies, with the exception of the Six of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles, they have a lot of darker energies, cloudy energies. But this one, it's bright, it's sunny, and there's a lot of ease in this card versus the other ones. The other ones are just trying to get through it, trying to survive, trying to make sense of what's going on. And I feel this Knight of Wands is you really showing up for yourself, showing up for where you want to go. And I think you have a very clear picture or feeling of where you'd like to go. It's just a matter of dismantling some of the things that can no longer come with you. So let's get a final card to end your reading. Final card for Soul Path 3, please. Take a risk. And process your feelings. This is a moment where you have to take a risk in maybe doing something that's a little unexpected, but I feel like it's important to your destination, to the victory that you're looking for. And that risk isn't necessarily being careless about what we do and how we take action. It's about really being conscious of that, knowing that we have to do some tough things, and taking a risk in letting stuff go that we might have fear about letting go. Addressing some stuff that just doesn't feel quite aligned or like the right opportunity, and having that trust that I'm taking this risk because I'm trusting my inner knowing a little bit more. My values or my vision of success and victory look a little different now, so I'm going to move towards that. That is the risk that I feel you have to take. Risking losing something that feels comfortable, even though it may not be good for you. And making sure to process those feelings along the way too. This is also the Wheel of Fortune symbolism as well. So understand that this is not a time to be really rigid in hanging on or having a specific outcome or goal in mind and that it has to be this way or else. This is about moving with the energy of being really flexible, of going with the flow, and again, coming back to the present moment of what you can control, what you can influence at this time. And it's interesting that the context of the reading was all major arcanas and the guidance are all minor arcanas. So you may not be able to control this of what's going on and what's being encouraged of you right now. You may not even be able to influence the destination or what victory or success is going to look like, but you're on your way. And then the minor arcanas are underneath. So this is about how you're showing up to this energy, this change, what opportunities you're picking up and putting down, and what you're investing your time in, and your thinking. What mindsets are coming in at this time, and how can you influence those for the betterment of your future? So this is what I have for you, Soul Path 3. I hope that resonated and was helpful to you. Let me know which messages stood out to you the most and or the imagery that really resonated with you. I always love to hear that. And with gratitude, I'm sending you my love. Stay curious, and I'll see you in your next reading.